Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J. Mitch. We got Jackie Boy.
He tried to jump up, and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground, I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there, he's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Ochenko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad Jones. 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ochenko can practice today. And I was like, I look back and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You're more fucked up than me.
On the Spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled.
Whoa. What was that?
Time
Good show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it?
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should.
Players. Luca. Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now.
Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd. Today is Monday, February 3rd. We are excited to be back here after a beautiful weekend that we did not take advantage of.
Wasted
the weekend. Perfect golf weather.
Wasted every day but one.
Yeah, Friday was great. After the show, we had a great show Friday. Lloyd and I decided to go and navigate our way through the LSU.
Different than the media.
Yeah, LSU spring game. Sat there right behind the dugout. Nice, cool evening. It wasn't super cold, but kind of felt nice. Watched the games live in person, boots on the ground. We'll talk about what we saw, what we liked, there's not much we didn't like. What we like,
Can't believe
what
they're
can
in the
you expect?
same dugout.
They are, well, yeah, that doesn't really matter, but we're 1 week closer to opening day. Obviously, this is the last week of technically, quote-unquote, spring training before they head into the game week, which is more of a preparation week than a game week, or than a spring training week. So things are starting to shape up. Position battles are hopefully becoming a little bit more clear. We're going to ask Jay Johnson that today at 7 o'clock. It is the Jay Johnson Mondays. Start again.
Back.
We are back with the Jay Johnson Mondays. He is coming on around 7-ish. They had a scrimmage at 5, but they're only playing 3 innings. So he said 7 maybe will be fine. He will be on here. We're looking forward to it. He's looking forward to it. Lloyd and I got a nice little shout out in the middle of the scrimmage or in between innings of a scrimmage. Looking forward to coming back on the show. So we're looking forward to having him. A lot to talk about. And we're going to get all those questions answered, at least some of the questions.
Talk about that on Mik'd Up. I was like, why don't you talk about that on Mik'd
Up? And that he is going to talk about it on
Mik'd Up.
We booked it right then. Super Bowl week. It's been 2 weeks leading up into the Super Bowl. Obviously, Super Bowl is in New Orleans. It'll be nice to have some positive football energy in the city of New Orleans compared to what has been happening throughout the course of the year and the offseason, where it feels like the Saints just can't get out of their own way. Coaching decisions haven't really been made. It seems like Kellen Moore is going to be the guy. Reports came out that he is going to be the guy, which I think seems like it's the obvious situation now. Obviously, some other news came out in the news that I don't have enough information on.
Take some of those donations back to pay a coach.
Speak on, but Saints are in there's a lot of different conversations in the football.
Money laundering 101.
Some good, some not good. We shall see what happens.
Pray on it.
With that, women's basketball goes 2-0 in the week. They are ranked, I think, 6th in the country now. We have Joe Schwartz, who came on last week to talk about the team. He is back on this week to talk about the team because 2 years ago, were the Good Luck Charms. And hopefully we are the Good Luck Charms again. A lot of things happened through the course of these last 2 games. Obviously, a couple of Scurfuffles that happened against Oklahoma. A little chippy, a lot of energy, a lot of passion. Joe Schwartz, if you watch this clip real carefully. One, that's a flop. He comes in there and saves the right hook. Seemed like the right hook was coming. Joe hugged her. Hey, saved you from potentially getting suspended for the year. Definitely a flop by the girl from Oklahoma. I mean, look at the size. First of all, look at the thickness difference. That's a flop. Either a flop or you just don't have enough balance.
Hey, back to your corner.
And the other girl teed her up. The other girl in Oklahoma teed her up on her own. So, hey, tee her up. They both got technicals. Obviously, both got ejected, correct?
Yeah, they both got ejected.
Good job jumping right in there.
Well, it's not my first rodeo. Really, that's not even my second rodeo. That just happened to be the third time. I go back to when I was in college, my freshman year. We had a kind of benches clearing brawl with Baylor, and I had
Malice at the Palace.
Yeah, I had to pull
Smack
back
at
a 7-footer. Prince eBay.
I remember him.
Benches cleared, and it was an overtime game, and I end up at the scores table because there was a kind of Scurfuffle at the scores table. Loose ball, our guard dove for it, their guard dove for it, some pushing and shoving, and Scott Drew wasn't moving, Rick Barnes wasn't moving, and the players just – it turned into a full melee, and I'm trying to grab people. And then obviously last year, SEC championship game in Greenville, Flagey gets shoved to the ground and tries to get back up and get into South Carolina's team's grill, if you will. And I was quick to stop that one. And then this one was a little different because I saw this stemming from the first and second possession of the game, and Samaya had been shoving that girl. They'd been shoving back. If the refs really wanted to clean it up, and I don't know if I'm allowed to get fined for talking about the refs, so I'll
I don't know.
But whatever.
The powers that be.
The refs needed to clean it up a little bit. It got chippy, and they should have called a double foul or a double technical, whatever, and say cut it out. Instead, they let it escalate, and it goes a few more possessions, and there was a foul called, and the media timeout's always under 5 minutes. And so I knew it was a media timeout, and I was like, this is going to be good for us. Well, then I see Samaya shove the girl after the foul was called, and then the girl shoves back, and I had already taken a few steps on the bench, and I start to see Samaya's fist kind of ball up, and that's when we needed to go back to our corner.
That wasn't the only Scurfuffle that happened in the game. Listen, sports in general, very passionate deal, right? And look, I didn't mean to jump right into this conversation.
We're here now.
We haven't even introed Jay. Jay Mitch is sitting out there in Tejas just listening, like a nice, just ready for his moment in the spotlight. Is now your moment. Welcome back to the show, Jay. Sorry that we went through this, but this is kind of how the show goes. Sometimes we go through the headlines normally. Sometimes we jump right into the conversation. So we are now into the conversation with Joe. Sorry that I didn't mean to leave you out. Never going to leave you out. Can't leave you out. You know, you started.
I'm just listening, boys. I'm listening. I'm trying to get the scoop on what actually happened. So I'm enjoying listening to this right now.
So the second Scurfuffle that happened in the women's basketball game, right? And like I said, sports are very passionate. You want to have passion when you're playing sports at a high level, and the most successful teams are very competitive and very passionate about what they do. And LSU women's basketball, obviously, no different. Samaya, you saw the passion there, obviously, pushing and shoving, leads to an ejection. And then later on in the game, you see some more passion with Kim Mulkey, which I don't think anybody can confuse or argue that about her passion for the game of basketball. Sometimes life in general, right? Sometimes it becomes too much, and she got passionate and slapped the scoreboard, the
binder.
The binder, whatever it was,
Clipboard,
whatever you want to call it, out of Simone Augustus' hand. Simone Augustus' reaction was priceless. She was like, what just happened there? Obviously, nobody really wants that to happen to him, but I'd imagine they kind of have come together as a team and everything is
kumbaya.
Great. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All is well. All is well. One thing I think Simone learned is that she just happened to be wrong place at the right time. It's happened to many of us. I've been pushed, shoved to the ground by Coach in the SEC tournament. Coach Starkey gets a bunch of pushes and shoves sometimes, but I mean, Coach is passionate. And once again, if the officials would have cleaned up the game earlier, the chippiness may not have been there. And Coach is always going to protect our players. And I don't think the foul on Flage was a foul, much less the technical that was assessed to Coach Mulkey for arguing the foul. She didn't throw a finger. She didn't point her finger up at the scoreboard. She kind of threw her arms up because everyone else in the arena threw their arms up as well because Flage didn't foul the girl. The girl pushed off. Regardless, Simone was standing there and clipboard gets knocked down, and we all kind of scurry to pick up the papers and calm her down, and it's all good. Simone's a passionate coach. She was a passionate player. Just heat of the moment, and
it happens.
It happens.
It happens. And look,
that's what happens when you're up 22 in a conference game.
Well, yeah, no doubt. And look, and I'm glad you said that because I do want to bring that up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it shows sign of leadership when something like that can happen and everybody can get back together and kind of have a conversation, mature conversation, and get back on track, get back on the same page. Seems like that's what happened. Lloyd made a comment, y'all are up 22, right? That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all were up 22, then y'all were not up 22.
Correct.
Right? So kind of talk me through that, right? Because that's been kind of something that, you don't really want to continue to happen as you get deeper into the season because, when you're up 22, you want to be able to say, let's get on through this game with that type of lead instead of making it a 1-point game with 30 seconds and then Michaela comes up with the wet three.
Yeah. So I've been around basketball for a long time, and y'all have been around sports for a long time. Technical fouls can work in crazy ways. I mean, some coaches will say, hey, I'm going to get teed up early, give us a spark, and sometimes it works. Or on the flip side, if another team's coach gets teed up, it may spark something for the opposing team. So Oklahoma's coach actually got teed up earlier in the game, and that gave us a spark. We went on a big run to extend the lead, and that's what you want to do. When you get a chance at 2 free throws and the ball back, and sometimes it's more than that. I think this weekend against Mississippi State, Anissa gets a technical foul for throwing the ball down. They make 2 free throws for the technical, 2 free throws for the shooting foul. So there's 1 for 2. So 3 points from free throws, 3 or 4. Then they get the ball and they hit get a bucket there. So it's a 5-point possession right there, and you can't guard that. So we did go up 22. We were playing really well against Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's a good team. They don't really have many weaknesses. They've got good guard play. They've got very big post play, and I'm glad we built that lead because it showed some toughness on our end, and we did that without Samaya, who's a starting 5 player for us. And
2 weeks in a row or 2 games in a row.
Yeah, I mean she's been fighting and clawing, and I've never torn an ACL or had a knee issue, but knock on wood. But Samaya's battled back. She's had 2 of them, and you never know what that'll do to your confidence, any injury. But Samaya had been playing really well the last couple of games in conference, and then she gets ejected. So Jersey had to step up. Aaliyah had to step up. And, yeah, I mean, you talked about Oklahoma being down 22. Well, no team in the SEC is just going to fold. So Oklahoma started hitting some shots, and they started pressing us a little bit, and we got a little frazzled. But I would like to say one thing, and it's a testament to our fans. This weekend was family day for us. We put on a little kind of event after the game yesterday for all the players' families and some of our Fast Break Club members. And two ladies I had never met before came up and thanked us for what we do as a staff and what we do as a program. But I kind of flipped it on them. I said, I don't think many people understand that we can't do this without our fan support. And that's not just what we have now. It's what we had starting year one. You think back to guys like the Balcony Bengals, the student section, people who had never watched a women's basketball game in their life, much less stepped in the PMAC to watch one. And we've built this thing because of them. And obviously some of that has to do with the product on the floor. A lot of it has to do with Coach Mulkey being from the state of Louisiana and growing up right down the road in Hammond. But our fan support is unbelievable. And ESPN and SEC Network, they flashed up a statistic yesterday after our game. We're 15-0 at home this year. We were 17-0 at home last year. I think the year before we lost 2 games at home, and the year before that we lost 2 games at home. 2 of our home losses are to South Carolina. 1 loss to Ohio State in the NCAA tournament, and I don't know how they were a 6 seed because they won the Big Ten that year. And then our second game ever at LSU was against Florida Gulf Coast, and we didn't know how to guard. They played a 5-out crazy type of offense. So we have 4 losses at home in 4 years. And like I said, a lot of that is the product we put on the court, but I'd say an even larger part of that is the crowd. I mean, think about the Stanford game this year. We probably had no business winning that game, but our fans kept getting louder and louder and louder. Our whiteout game against Oklahoma was a great crowd. But gosh, you look up in like late November and we have 10 to 12,000 fans in that arena. So as much fun as it is winning, it's more fun to win at home and to know that you almost have that 6 man. And I think it's just a testament to this community and how much they've embraced.
And what y'all built.
Yeah, it's fun to watch and it's fun to see.
Jay, you got one?
Yeah, Joe, I always want to know, so obviously, like, I guess this situation kind of magnifies it a little bit more than normal, but the days you get Kim and when she gets really, really animated, when you peel the curtain back and you get her, I guess, to, if you will, come back down, how is she back in the locker room with the players in those situations? Like, does she ever come down? Does she notice it? Does she laugh about herself? Does it continue? Like, how is she after those moments?
You know, y'all are players. Y'all were players, and had played the game at a high level. And she's obviously played the game at the highest level as an Olympian. She's coached at the highest level, won 4 national championships. So that adrenaline kicks in, and there's stuff that's said in the moment. And I'm not gonna say you black out on the sideline, but you don't necessarily remember everything you say or you do. I mean, there's times where I may yell something at a player mid-game, and after the game, I don't remember it, and they may come up to you after. But she, after the game against Oklahoma, I don't think she had necessarily realized what she had done from the clipboard deal fiasco. I mean, I don't necessarily remember everything until I watched the video of me leaving the bench to go grab Samaya. It's just instinct.
Right.
And reactions happen, and I think Coach handled it very well. She talked to the girls after the game. But, yeah, she comes back down. I mean, you got to remember, she's a mother, a grandmother. She's got that soft side of her. But I think it was cool to see how the girls responded, because we look back the past couple of years, and we've been a 3 seed every year in the NCAA tournament, and probably because we've dropped games in conference play that we shouldn't have won or that we let slip away from us. And Oklahoma was a game that could have slipped away from us. And we look up now, that may be our biggest win to date. I think Tennessee's going to be close from a net perspective, but Oklahoma was the highest ranked team that we've beaten this year. They're right in there in the net with Tennessee and the AP standings. I think OU's now 15, Tennessee's like 18. But I think the biggest thing is we got back in that locker room, whether we would have won by 1 or whether we won by 25, coach's ability to let the girls understand how big of a win that was. And, the kids nowadays, they're going to be frustrated if they're not making shots or if they're not scoring X amount of points. But that's what's so impressive by our coaching staff on a daily basis is to get these kids to understand, like, yeah, we're good. We're 23-1, but we're not satisfied. We gave up 100 points to Oklahoma.
Right.
Flip side, we scored 107. So I think coach's ability to point out the positive things is very impressive. And it was good. Friday, we do it every year, but you got to find a place in the schedule that works. Friday, you can't really do much. You have a conference game Thursday night, and then you have to turn around and play Sunday. So Coach said, guys, I just want to get in the film room, watch some stuff, and we're going to go get ice cream after. No practice. Stay off our feet. A little sweet treat.
There you go.
Get the rest of the day off. So I think that was good for the girls. Little team bonding.
Little wins in a long season go a long way.
Bucket.
Just drop it in the bucket. Just add it to the bucket every day. Something like they probably listen. You think that's like a child thing when you're a kid. Oh, we're gonna get ice cream after, but it's just those little things that you don't normally do. It's something to look forward to. That's a good.
Do have one question.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I would imagine this has been addressed, but the big leads and then giving up the big leads. This has got to be a point of contention amongst the team because you get up by 22, you get up by 16 in some games, you get up by double digits multiple times, and it seems like, I wouldn't say foot off the gas, but these teams make a run, and it's a substantial run to get them back in the game. And LSU, y'all, have been in close games throughout and happened to have won them with whether it been buckets late, whether it be Michaela, freshmen, things like that you made at the last second. Is that something that you were trying to adjust to and be like, look, when we're up 16, let's make it 20, 25, put it to the point where there's no thought of coming back?
Yeah, I think that's one thing that we have discussed. Coach Starkey loves to talk about separation. And, God, there's a lot of games. Like you said, we've looked up and we've been up 10, 12, 14, 20, whatever it is. And then it's like snap of a finger and the other team's right back in it. I think one thing that we discuss as a staff is maybe when a run like that happens, let's just burn a timeout, settle them down, and I think, obviously hindsight's 20/20, but that's probably what we should have done in the Oklahoma game. I think there were 9 possessions in a row where we either turned it over, took a really bad shot, and not that we were trying to stall that game once we got up big, but we've got kind of a play call that we go to in that situation. If we are up big, you're trying to burn some clock. Not going to say it on the show to give anyone any insight, but basically what we do, we run our normal offense, and unless we have a layup, we're getting right back out, just running our continuity stuff. So unless you have a wide open layup, you wait until under 10 seconds, and then you get to a high ball screen or wing ball screen, whatever it is, and try and get a good look. But this team's a little bit different. We've got a lot of elite players, a lot of elite shot makers that aren't necessarily used to being told, hey, like back in elementary school, hey, we need 10 passes on this possession before we score. So I think part of it's finding that balance, and then that old cliche, stop the bleeding, if you will, because runs are contagious. You get a 2 and then you hit a 3 and then a stop and another one kills. We talk about that all the time. I don't think we have a word yet for like a reverse kill.
Revive.
Yeah, we don't want teams getting kills on us, so we need to revive. I like that. But yeah, it has been.
You're hear them say revive.
Stay alive.
Yeah. So we've talked about it, but I will say, and I had this conversation with a couple of the kids the other night. This team has been battle tested. We had the Stanford game. We had the Washington game in the Bahamas. Bounce back and beat NC State. We didn't lose to Washington, but a very high emotional game. And then when you play NC State, who was a Final Four team last year, play them a day later with very little prep time, and you go beat them by double figures. So their ability to handle adversity and then respond to whatever the next most important thing is. So that could be the next possession. that could be, oh, they just went on a 12-0 run. What are we going to do? Because even that Oklahoma game, we're up 22. Actually, it was 24. We're up 72-48. And then they go on a 12-0 run, and then we hit a bucket. And that was what was so crazy to me watching it back on film. It's like it never really was close until it was close. And back to the technical foul, it was 90-81 when that happened. They make 2 free throws, hit a 3. So 5-point possession, it's a 4-point game. Then they get a stop. So it's like part of it was.
Then Mikie turns the game back on.
Yeah, I mean, but part of it was maybe things that we were doing offensively, turning the ball over, taking quick and ill-advised shots. But for the most part, if you go back and watch it on film, even with all those turnovers, we were still getting stops on the other end. And it would go from like 14 to 11, and then we get it back to 13. And then you can't really – in that situation, when a team goes on a run, you don't want to trade 2s for 3s. You don't want to go score and then give up a 3. You don't want to put them on the foul line to score when the clock stopped. So it has been a point of emphasis, and we've noticed it because it is a pretty popular trend. But like you said –
Gambler's hell, by the way.
You don't want to look up in mid-March and it be your potential last game of the season. And, I mean, heck, I played one of my years at Texas. We were playing Northern Iowa, and we were up, I think, 16 in the first half, and then we got down by as much as 16 in the second half. We hit a floater with 2.5 seconds left, and then they throw an inbounds play and bank in a half-court shot to end our season. So you don't want to put yourself in a position to lose a big lead down the stretch in the season, and it costs you your season. Right now, we're still in the regular season, and not that any game would affect the rest of our season more than another, but I mean, if you blow a lead to a team that you're supposed to beat and they catch you on a bad night and end up sneaking one out and beating you, that can affect your seeding in the NCAA tournament. And our goals, we don't have crazy extreme goals. We don't have it up on the wall. We have to win a national championship there. We have to win the SEC. We want to win the SEC, but our goals, you've got to be realistic about them. We want to finish top 4 in the SEC this year. And right now, South Carolina's 1. I think there's 4 teams tied for second with 1 loss. So, obviously, we have to play Texas in 2 weeks. That's
what I was about to get to the schedule.
I'll let you get to the schedule, yeah.
You got Missouri next, obviously, and you got Tennessee, Texas, Georgia, Kentucky, Alabama, Ole Miss to finish. So you got 4 of the next 7 or 8 games are against ranked opponents.
Yeah. And is Ole Miss ranked today?
No, not at this moment.
So Ole Miss is a team that I think will be back in the top 25 shortly. So 5 potential ranked games in your last 8. It's crazy to think we're halfway through the conference season. But tough one on the road against Missouri.
Actually, I think there's 7 left.
7 left? Okay, so 7 games left.
I can't count.
And,
you can't even read.
And you gotta take them one at a time, because Missouri is a team that if they get hot from 3 and they start running on you, like, you may look up in the 3rd or 4th quarter. They played Texas close the other night, and Texas was missing some players, but I think Texas only beat them by 9. And Texas is a top 5 team. So you can't take anyone for granted in this league. And we're going to focus this week on Missouri. That's who we have to focus on, 1 game at a time. We know what we have coming Sunday. Tennessee's coming to our place. It was I think 1 point game, 2 point game. I think 2 point game. We beat them on a last second shot at their place. They've lost a lot of 1 possession games this year, so we fully expect to get their best shot again. And Tennessee and LSU go way back. I mean, they've been SEC rivals for a long time. Two basketball powerhouses.
Did the coach have the baby?
Coach had the baby. Coach Caldwell had her baby. I also didn't know this until a couple of weeks ago. Her husband is on Coach Barnes' staff at Tennessee. So they've got coach on the women's side as the head coach and an assistant on the men's staff, and then the little one, I guess, running around.
Well, she's not running around yet.
Right,
she's bobbing her head.
Right. But it'll be fun to be
the modern marvels of technology.
Oh, really? The kid that's probably 2 months old.
2 weeks, maybe.
2 weeks old.
Yeah.
You never know.
Stand him up.
Figure it out.
Hey, hold up. We're walking today.
Figure it out.
Today is the day. But no, I mean, we've got
down 5 times, get up 6.
Exactly.
That's what Allen Iverson taught me. Paul Jesperson ain't walking through that door.
I hate
Last question before you go.
Why bring that name up? That was so unnecessary.
Well, he's an unnecessary person.
I know.
And you know that coming in.
Speaking of blowing leads, Northern Iowa 2 nights later blew a 12-point lead with 30 seconds left to A&M.
I mean, that was money as soon as it left his hand. He didn't even shoot it. Northern Iowa does have a flair for the dramatic. Not the first time they've done this.
No. Ali Farouk Manesh.
Yes. That's what I think of. I don't even think of this one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um,
I forgot what I was going to say. Forgot what I was going to ask. Because y'all are talking about nonsense over there.
Not nonsense. That's his life. That's his basketball career that you just called nonsense.
Yeah, but how many national
true.
championships has Paul Jesperson won?
He's big overseas.
I believe it.
Do you know that, or you just made that up?
Nah, man, quick Google. Anybody, anything.
You were talking about the schedule, I think.
No, I mean, obviously you'll have a tough schedule coming up. You had the tough game against Oklahoma, and you'll go and you'll rebound, and you played against Mississippi State. Obviously,
coaches for Oklahoma, men's coach.
Huh?
Coaches on the Oklahoma men's staff.
Jesperson?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. You'll obviously take care of business. But it feels like every game. This is the last question I want to ask before I'll let you get out of here. Every game feels like somebody else kind of steps up.
Yeah.
Right? Flage's done it. Michaela's done it. Anissa's done it. You have a bunch of people that are able to do the things they need to do, whether it's their day, not their day. And then when they combine them, you get a game like you had against Mississippi State.
Yeah. Mississippi State was another one. We knew they were tough. They beat us last year at their place. I didn't know everything that happened, didn't remember. I knew about it last year. One of their players started running their mouth last year after they beat us, put some stuff on Twitter and
bulletin board material.
Yeah. And it's something that is even more accessible now with social media because you have so much access to everything. And like I talked about last week with Flage, she's got Post-it notes. She's got stuff all over her apartment, remind her to do stuff. Well, this one stuck out to Flage regarding Sunday. The player that tweeted it said, I scored 24 points on Flage last year, #Lil4. Well, everyone knows that Flage goes by Big 4, so Flage took Sunday's game personal. Had a good offensive night, but really good defensive night. Had 4 block shots, which is a career high, and went to the press conference yesterday and held the girl she guarded 2 of 12 shooting from the field. And she said I took it personal, big foe. So, but yeah, like you said, we've had players step up. Every game it's someone different. You kind of know you're getting to a point where you know what you're going to get from Anissa and Flage and Michaela. But Cheyenne Day Wilson, our point guard, she's starting to come along. It's taken her a little bit to get in the groove and kind of understand the flow. You got to think she's been at 2 different schools before this, so she's starting to figure it out. She's starting to play well, and she's finding people. I think she had 9 assists against Oklahoma. She had 4 or 5 the other night, but a couple that led to buckets. Plays where she would pass it and they get fouled, we go make 2 free throws. Another player that I'm real proud of and has been working her tail off all year is Jersey. Jersey stepped up, jumped into the starting lineup again with Samaya being suspended for a game, and she gave us good minutes off the bench, or not off the bench, but in the starting lineup. She was catching some tough passes, finishing. Wish she would make a few more free throws, but she's getting there. Had a couple blocks. And guarded.
That's Joe's job.
Yeah,
we'll get in the gym. She'll be fine. And then Aaliyah Del Rosario, she's another big body, 6'6", who's coming along. And if you remember last year, late in the season, we used her. She had to guard Lauren Betts from UCLA, who's 6'6", monster for UCLA. And I think the biggest thing is you've got to know, or you've got to be ready when your number's called. Mm-hmm. And that starts in practice. That starts getting extra work in. Today was an off day, and we had kids up in the gym. Aaliyah came over to the office in a full sweat, and she said, I just got done running. I was working out today.
Nice.
And none of that. We can't demand any of that.
Optional.
It's all optional. We've got 4
optionatory.
We've got 4 coaches on the road recruiting tonight, going to see Zakiya Johnson, a commit. I'm allowed to talk about that.
There you go.
She's in Shelbyville, Louisiana at Sacred Heart. They're looking to make a playoff run this year. So
There you go.
when
Never
the coaches are
stops.
gone, it never stops. You got kids working out, doing things on their own. And I will say one thing. With the Super Bowl being on Sunday in New Orleans, we got a game at 3 o'clock. Tough
Plenty of
one.
time.
That's a tough scheduling.
It's a tough one.
That's a tough scheduling.
But I need to add this, and Coach and I talked about it last night.
It's happened before. Didn't you have a big game last year?
Last year against Alabama.
Ha.
Went back and looked at the attendance. We had 12.2 thousand people there. The game was at the same time. The kickoff for the Super Bowl is at the same time.
Saints aren't in it.
The Saints aren't in it. I get it. If you're from this state and you are going to the game, if you have season tickets for LSU women's basketball and are not using them on Sunday, please find someone to give your tickets to.
There you go.
There's a difference
PSA.
between tickets out and actual attendance. We want our actual attendance to be up there. It's Tennessee. It's a rivalry game. I completely understand that if you've got Super Bowl obligations, house parties, whatever it is, I get that.
Started early.
Exactly. I didn't know this. If you show up to our games before tip-off, alcohol is 50% off.
Hey.
Up until tip-off, 50% off alcohol.
Well,
I think, and it might be all concessions, but 50% off alcohol before up until the buzzer. It's called the Beat the Buzzer promotion. So
Liquid lunch.
I get it. If you can't make the game on Sunday, completely understand it. But there are a lot of people that would like to go to that game. It's a rivalry game. It's a top 20 matchup. Tennessee's coming in hungry for a win, and we need that place packed. We don't want to drop a game like that because lack of attendance. So fans, continue to do your part.
Yeah, show up, show out.
We're going to do our part, start early, and then I'm going to...
Just a little pregame before the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
It's the perfect way to get. What are you going to do before the Super Bowl anyway?
I mean, just a little pregame. If you're not hosting the party.
Right.
Even if you are.
Even if you are, the game will be done by 5. You'll be at the Super Bowl party by 5:30.
There you
And
go.
if you go to the game, LSU more likely to win by more, then you can, get this thing over quicker if you'd like. Get ready to go host, but then you have a whole cavalry coming home with you.
That's it.
And I'm going to go on record with a bold prediction, 27-25 Eagles.
Wow. 25.
I went back and looked at the score last year. The Chiefs won 25-22. So
2-pointers.
it might be their 25 might be the lucky number, but I think the Eagles offense has been humming. I think their defense is good. Did she win a Grammy last night? I don't think she did.
Did she not?
No, she was celebrating Kendrick like she won, though. I don't think that song was for her. I don't think she's like that.
I don't think
they're
it
the same.
was Chapel.
I don't think they're thinking about the
She
same
was best
thing.
new artist or something.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That Pink Pony Club song.
Well, Kanye's girlfriend or wife.
That needs to be. That's my curtain. Whatever.
She needed a
That's
curtain.
my curtain call day. She needed the curtain to stay up. I think they were
What a
escorted
wild-
out for the right reason. It's 2025. Some of those performances last night, I was like, I remember watching the Grammys as like an 8-year-old kid on Sunday night.
That kid?
That kid, look at him. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. I never really watched the Grammys ever. I'll like tune in every now and then, but
Lil Wayne had a run there where you couldn't tune out.
yeah, right,
Tune in.
right.
Carter 6 is dropping this year, though.
At the Super Bowl.
allegedly.
I'll believe it when I see it.
At the Super Bowl.
I thought he was gonna drop it.
He
We
is.
talked about this. He was hoping he would get the Super Bowl deal and then drop it.
He's going to be on stage. It's a long con.
I
I don't want to ruin the surprise,
but all right.
plugged into Young Money.
Yeah, I know. I can tell. Joe, as always, we appreciate you coming on the show. Trying to get Jay's coming on in 18 minutes.
All right.
So we got to get our heads flipped
Yep.
to a different sport
Well,
to talk about.
National champion, they share a year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
Maybe they do it again.
Let's do 2023 all
Let's
over
do it.
again.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah. Well, see y'all next Monday.
See you next Monday after another 2-0 week.
2-0 week, and then, God, I got to go back to my alma mater next week.
Then we can talk all about that next week. After
Yep.
you go 2-0, then you
2-0.
go.
Oh, so you talked about Paul anyway. Jesperson.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk, yeah.
With that, appreciate you, dude.
Yeah. See
As
y'all
always,
next
thanks for
week.
coming on, dude.
Joe, see you, Mo.
Later, Jay. We miss you here.
I know.
I know. I miss you boys.
You look good. You feel free to come back whenever you want.
Weather's great.
No, I'll be back soon. I'll let you know.
All right.
Appreciate you. Good luck. Enjoy your Monday night. Enjoy it. The beauty is it's do whatever you want.
You got plenty of time. 6:43.
Yeah. You can
Perfect
do whatever
fun
you can do whatever you want.
Thank you, brother.
So yeah, as we mentioned, Jay is coming on at 7 o'clock. But knowing him, he'd pop on a few minutes early. He's a very prompt guest of ours. Yeah, so it seems like women's basketball got back on track. Obviously, all of the drama and stuff that kind of has happened over the last couple of games seems like it's been ironed out, and they are business as usual. And they will move on to the Sunday game. Obviously, try to continue this momentum they have moving forward. But let's talk about LSU baseball before Jay gets on. What are some of the things that you really want after watching on Friday?
I was going to ask you that first. What did you see on Friday that you have mental notes of? I sat with you. It's fun to watch baseball with you because, especially in a situation like that, because usually when I've tried to go to a game with you, it's a lot of hey Mikey, a lot of shoulder tugging, a lot of he's trying to watch baseball, but also celebrity. This was unencumbered, just getting to watch the ball. So I'm interested to see what your thoughts were.
Very impressed with Kate Anderson. Kate Anderson started on one team, and Gavin Gidry started on the other team. Gavin had a rough first, and then kind of.
Wait, time out. What day did y'all go?
Friday.
Oh.
And Kate Anderson started on Friday?
Oh.
Yeah.
When's the season start?
On Friday. Next
I'm just
Friday.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I like what you did there. It's a little foreshadowing of a conversation we're gonna have a little bit.
Let's put that in the piggy bank.
Yeah. Just keep it in there. Store it in the memory bank and see what happens.
Schedules everything for these pitchers.
Wait, hold on. Did Joe leave his car keys?
Probably.
He said car keys on table.
Come back.
And that Jared swallow it up now. Hey, I've left car keys in
You've
there
done
a couple
it. You've
times.
done it before.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kate Anderson looked really good. He started on one of the teams, and I think he went 5 innings, and he had control of all of his pitches, right? And I think the most impressive thing that I saw on Friday was whenever he lost like a little bit of control of his breaking balls, or maybe he would get behind the count a little bit. He would rely on to come back to the fastball, and every time his fastball, he'd get back in the count with his heater, right? So he's no matter what situation it was, he had control of his heater. And then at the back end of the game, or the back end of his start, he started pitching off his heater and throwing changeups off of it. And, you know, when Lloyd gets back in here from dropping off the keys, I want to talk about a sequence that we had talked about. Talk about Kate Anderson and how I kept saying, I wish he would throw his fastball more, but I know they're working on his breaking ball. And then whenever he got in trouble, he would throw his heater, right, and get back in the count. And then I was talking about the at-bat. I think it was against Blaze Priester.
Yes.
And he attacked him. He went fastball at 94. Priester fouled it off. He went fastball again at the knees at about 94, painted, taken, right, for strike 2. So it's 0-2. And I looked at Lloyd and I said, if he was smart here, he would throw a changeup in that exact same slot, throw it underneath underneath the barrel, drop below the zone. Sure enough, throws a changeup exactly where he wanted to in the dirt, strike 3 over the top.
Big breeze.
And it just it was towards the back end, and it's just nice to see him progress into that type of pitcher, right? His slider's obviously one of his better pitches now, and he's a 4-pitch mix guy. He's got a fastball, slider, breaking ball, and he has some control of his changeup. So I was pretty impressed with him. Very impressed with Ashton Larson's at-bats. He had 2 balls really hard. Jake Brown had some good at-bats. Had a lot of situational stuff happening. So, you know, some bunts to move guys over. You had double steals. You had a bunch of things that you like to see them, you know, take care of and kind of hone in on before the season starts. So, to answer your question, that's what I was impressed about. Now, Lloyd, what were you impressed about since you were there?
I'm putting the thumbnail on because Jay's coming on. I was.
Sounded to me like you went in a national championship game, like winner. Like that's a lot to be impressed about.
That's
Well, it was
hard not to walk away from.
It was good.
Sometimes, and I've said this before, because it does happen where LSU feels like it gets a little bit of a ratings bump, maybe a little bump in the rankings because you look at the colors, look at the numbers, look at 7 national championships. You go, oh, we'll put them top 5, but what you've seen that Jay has done, whether it be recruiting or through the transfer portal, he has got a squad, brother. Like, whenever I think we saw what would you say that maybe one of the teams looked like a starting lineup that they could possibly they could possibly roll out there.
There's probably a couple guys you probably changing it out, but yeah.
But with that said, like they are still able to Saturday, Sunday. I think Saturday they mixed it up even more, where they made it a little bit more balanced. But you can see kind of where he's leaning as to who he wants to play. And whether it be transfer portal guys or freshmen incoming, there's going to be some guys that you haven't seen make an impact with guys that are kind of staving off like competition. And I think the guy that popped out to be the most would be Ashton Larson.
Yeah, he had 2 balls really hard.
It just, physically he's developed the way his at-bats, because you saw him kind of eke his way into the lineup, and then he became too good to take out. And then it became like almost he was thinking about it a lot, like where he was kind of confused at the dish, where he was taking pitches that he normally swung at, and it became a lot very quickly. And now it looks like he's just playing baseball again. And whether it's him navigating the new like foul territory or like what he's doing at the plate, how he's running the bases, and the way that kind of the responsibility that Jay's given him, it feels like he's ready to take that next step. And the guys that we're not talking about, like a Larson or a Milam, the guys that you saw last year, like those guys are going to be what they learned last year is going to be paramount in what happens for LSU baseball this year.
Jay, Luis Hernandez, he didn't really do much in the game, but like, you know, you can look at a guy and he kind of, the way he's set up and like
professional.
Also, you just tell him he just looked like a walking 300 with 15 plus.
He looks like he's gonna put some balls into orbit this year. Like every time he's hitting, he's got the
Puerto Rican waggle,
the Latin stance, right? And dude, he is ready to launch. And I don't know how many he's gonna hit, but I'd be nuts. I wouldn't know much baseball if I would say here I don't think he's gonna run into homers. I think he's gonna run a few. And it looks like he hit a long way.
It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because I think a lot of people may not understand exactly what you're saying, but like that's a thing. And baseball players know it, and people know it. And people, I mean, we just know it. Like you look at a dude, you just be like, bro, he just looked like a base hit, bro. Yeah. Like everything he does in the box looks like he's always on and is about to smack some shit. And I will say this because for me, that's what was so important this year is not that you were able to get a Dickinson back, not that you were able to get a Milam back, but having some real presence around Bear Jones. If you're telling me that that's what this kid looks like, and I would imagine and hope that during the season there is some numbers to come with it. But when you have someone like that who's got some pop and people know it and people feel it, you all of a sudden don't get, I won't say you don't get so scared of Bear Jones, but you just know you can't toy with it as much. Right. And you know at some point you're going to have to kind of, hey, I got to challenge him at some point. And so that's what someone like that can bring to him because that's what we call real protection, right? It's not, you're not real protection if you don't have that presence, if you don't have that look, if you don't have that kind of feel like, hey, he may leave or go, or he may get in the gap. This at bat.
Yeah.
If people don't feel that, they just say, you know what, Bear, go stand on first base and let's see if you can score if he actually does get in the gap right here. Having someone like that is huge for a lineup.
Yep. And another positive, and I think which is also big for lineup in a whole different way. We talk about Pearson. He's doing the same things he did last year, right? Like he didn't get a ton of hits. But there was one situation. The one situation he had with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, he hits a base hit to the left field, right in the 6-hole. Shortstop's moved over, single base hit, 2-run score, and that's what he's in the lineup to do, right? Professional at bats, drive guys in, big hits when he needs to, and that's Luis Hernandez right there.
Stance has a little bit more swagger to it this year than what I'm seeing at. LSU will do that. Indiana State to LSU.
Yeah.
A little different.
Yeah, and look.
But that thing went to orbit.
So they have their offense, I think, is going to be, I don't want to call it a work in progress. That's the wrong word. I think it's going to continue to evolve as the season goes on, but I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to end up being a really good offense at the end of the year. I think going into the season, we can ask Jay about this when he gets on the show. I think the strength of the team, at least from day one, is going to be on the pitching staff, right? You have you imagine who the top 3 guys. We've talked about who we think are the top 3 guys. You alluded to it earlier, Jay. Kay Anderson started on Friday. Feels like Kay Anderson's going to, if that's what he's doing, if he continues to do that, if he pitches again this Friday, I would imagine that is kind of shows you where they view him in the rotation.
I would also say to that too. Usually, you're 2 weeks away from the start of the year. Usually the guy that's throwing on a Friday in your inner squad in a 2-week span, in a 14-day span, doesn't somehow find his way to fall out of that weekend rotation.
Right.
So.
Right. And so he threw, and then Ayenson came in through 4 innings to finish the game. He looked really good, very easy. Hey, I didn't notice it. This motherfucker's got some big-ass legs. Like,
dump truck.
Like, looks like he can squat 700 pounds, right? And
that's your trunk, Jared. That's where the power is.
Easy arm angle, easy arm action.
Repeatable.
He looked good. So he threw the last 4. I would imagine he is going to be obviously in the rotation as well. And then you also have Chase Shore. So I would imagine those 3 are going to be the guys. So but even outside of those guys, right? You have a whole bunch of dudes that you can either start or pitch in the bullpen, right? Jaden Newt's thrown really well. I think a guy that people haven't talked about, we just now have been, not really just hearing about, but been hearing more about. Similar to last year when you started hearing about Milam a little bit more as the season started. Grant Fontenot came out the bullpen going 90. He was 95 to 98, and so he has some experience. He's signed with LSU, transferred to a JUCO, and then was at Texas last year and came back. Obviously, it's we've got to see what he can do when he gets on the field in the bright lights. But 95, 98 out the bullpen. If you're throwing strikes, that plays. That's just another name to add to the list of talented guys.
Realistically, how many arms?
Hey, I got a question for y'all.
Go.
Since y'all were, boots to the ground and kind of saw it in person, do we feel any? I won't say feel any better or whatever. Do we have any kind of feeling of clarity in what you think you'll see out of the catcher position out of just being there for that day?
Well, I was going to mention that too. So, Aaron Beatty started on one side and Luis Hernandez started on the other. Right?
Who did he catch? Did he catch Cade?
Who did Aaron Beatty catch? I don't think Aaron Beatty caught. I think
was on
Luis.
the other side,
Luis Hernandez caught Cade. But I will say this: didn't see a ton of pass balls. There's a couple times where I think it was Luis.
Couple shock jockeys.
Was it Luis or is
No, it was Aaron Beatty that went off the thigh.
So he was Gavin Guidry throwing breaking balls, getting spiking some stuff, like really trying to bury it. A couple times Aaron Beatty kind of came up a little bit too early, kick saving a beauty, and then he kind of settled in and started a little bit softer. I will say this: he's the better thrower of the baseball than Hernandez. Hernandez didn't have a bad arm. It just he took a long time to get rid of it and get it down there. Aaron Beatty threw a couple guys out, and Aaron Beatty also had a double in the gap. So they both look good. Aaron Beatty's bigger than I thought he was.
And the way he's swinging it.
Did Cade throw the slider?
Yes.
Yes.
Because Mikey was up in arms about it. Just throw a goddamn fastball. What are we doing here? It's like, Mikey, we literally just had a show where Mikey was saying, look, don't take what you see from these scrimmages, out of pocket. And then Mikey was over here. I was like, look, remember, they're going to work on something. He's like, I just want to see a fucking fastball.
Well, I just want to see.
And he struck out 2 straight people. Exactly. So, he wasn't wrong. But they're working on things, Michael. That's what we said. We said not to overreact when we go to these things.
I know that. But no, the catcher position, I think, that's going to obviously be ever-evolving. But I like Aaron Beatty. I like Luis Hernandez. Those are the only 2 guys I saw. Priester was obviously swinging it, but didn't see him behind the plate. So he is aggressive. He is going to be a guy.
Everything about him.
Listen to me. You look at his profile and what he looks like on the field, and it's exactly how you think. He's a big dude, takes big swings. He's going to run into some homers. He's also going to swing and miss a little bit. And that's okay.
What is that's part of it, fits the profile. What's the left side of the infield look like?
Well, that game it was Milam at short. No.
Yes.
Was he? I thought he had the bare hand throw.
That is up for they've been moving them around a little bit with the shift and things like that, where they did this with Jordan Thompson last year.
Yeah, but
2 years ago.
But when they moved him, nobody was playing third.
Right, but they left. I know. I'm just saying that, but they put Braswell on the left side of the infield and moved Milam over as the shift guy.
Right.
But yes, they moved them. They interchanged them.
But I think he started at short and Braswell started at third,
and they did both.
And Dickinson was at second. Dickinson got the
wore one on the cap.
But he got the guy out. Yep.
Got a brum. Threw it back.
And so look, there was nothing that went wrong. in the left side of the infield. There really wasn't many challenging plays to really judge it. But, every play they had, they handled.
Is it fair to say that it does seem like that Broswell looks better at, more comfortable at third? Not better, but more comfortable?
I think, I didn't see enough to be able to determine that. I think he's comfortable both sides, but,
Either way, you're in a great spot.
Yeah.
You didn't think he looked comfortable at short last year?
No, I think that Milam, just the way he moves, horizontally, side to side, is a lot more fluid than what Broswell does, and putting him in that box with that arm, I think it kind of plays to more of his strength, to me.
Yeah. Dickinson looked good, too, swinging it. I like his swing.
Oh, Mikie loves Daniel Dickinson.
I like his swing. I like the way he approaches the baseball.
And I like him batting leadoff, too.
I do, too. Also, another
caveat.
Observing
report.
Yeah, observant comments, I guess. They ran a lot more. Emphasis on stealing bags.
Who?
LSU.
Who?
Dickinson stole one.
Jake Brown stole one. Stole one, then didn't steal one. They stole one, then had to go back.
Good coaching.
This man just said LSU.
Yeah, both sides.
I don't know.
Shit.
I didn't know you were talking about individual people. Everybody was running. They probably had
Only LSU on the field.
They had 8 different dudes running, and some guys that weren't even super fast, right? They had. It wasn't like oh, these 2 guys are just running the whole time. They had a lot of guys. That's why I said emphasis on running. Everybody was taking bags. Everybody was trying to take bags. A lot more movement. Obviously, said situationally, so. I'd imagine that was part of it.
No, but I think if there's anything you could take away from it, you're going to see a lot more of putting pressure on the defense than you saw last year.
Yeah. But look, that's we watched basically the whole game, and that was my takes from the first game. And look, it was a good one to go watch.
Solid ball.
It was a good ball. Shows you a lot of mental scouting right there.
It's going to be tough to keep Curiel out the lineup for very long.
He didn't really do anything when we were there.
I'm just from what I saw.
What'd you see? He didn't do anything.
He hit a single.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Curiel.
Where? He slapped one on the gap, and then so did Aaron Beatty, and then obviously we didn't see the Bear Jones show, but then what he did for the continuance of the weekend.
Yeah, Bear Jones had a good weekend.
And so did Curiel, but then you saw him play a little bit of defense, made a little sliding catch. Mikie loved it.
Yeah, he's a defender, but one of those.
I just think he didn't really have. He had to do some freshman duties. Made him run the bases when he go out there.
Oh yeah, that was it. I did say that. Did I not point that out?
Look, nobody's bigger than the program.
You needed somebody to go run you had a guy walk. Hey, you come back in and hit. We need you to hit. Hey, go run. Little freshman, you got to earn your spot. Go get some base running in there.
Oh, Danny Two Gloves. The chef, oven mitts.
No, he wasn't. Not Danny Dickinson.
No, Curiel.
It was Curiel. But double mitts on the bags. Or double mittens.
Yeah, it's hard to get them both on.
Yeah, how do you put the other one on? I guess you let the first base coach do it? I was not a mitten guy.
I don't know.
I was
never done the double mitt.
I was never a one mitt. I wasn't even a one mitten guy.
I don't know.
Saves his future as a hand model. Zoolander.
Yeah, I avoided the broken jam fingers. Thankfully. I like to have the dexterity to be able to move around.
Hold the bag.
I
used to go with the one, but I had to have the thumb out. I couldn't do the thumb trapped in there. I felt constricted. I didn't like that.
Yeah. I love that.
Put a hole in it. Yeah, I couldn't do it.
But those are my takes. They're gonna be good. They're gonna be talented. They're gonna be athletic. I think that's the big thing. They're gonna be a lot more athletic than they have been in the past. And look, you're tired of me talking. Everybody's tired of hearing me talk, and you talk, and Lloyd talk, asking us questions. We're gonna ask the man himself. He's got more answers than we do. Maybe he's not. He may not give us all the answers. But we're gonna ask him.
He was texting, so I wanted to give him time to finish up recruiting.
No doubt.
Whatever he was doing.
That's good. I appreciate that, Lloyd. That's good producing by you. Welcome back, head coach of the LSU Baseball Tigers, Jay Johnson. Coach, appreciate you coming back on. It's been a little while. I needed to give you a little bit of a break from Lloyd until you saw us on Friday, and Lloyd got real excited that you acknowledged him. Just want to say that.
I don't know if it was me, but I'll take it.
Yeah, it was good to see you guys. What can I say? So.
No, it's always good to see you, Coach. And obviously, this is the last week of spring training, if you will, before the game week. I would imagine, going in, you have a lot of new guys going into the season, going into this part of the season. There's still a lot of position battles to be had. There's still a lot of opportunity to be had from a bunch of different guys. With a week remaining in the preparation, have you kind of narrowed down on who you think's going to be in the starting lineup on Friday, or are there still some position battles that you're trying to iron out right now?
Yeah, I'm of the thought, don't make decisions until you have to, but I think there's a lot more clarity today than when we came back to school, and that's a good thing that it was like that. I think we have a really deep roster in terms of guys that can contribute in a positive way, and we're going to use guys. I made the comment to the position players. I think it was the day I saw you, like if you went down both lineups and you looked at how guys execute and the skills that they bring, most guys did their job, and that was against very good pitching, because a lot of our top guys, if you will, were throwing that day you were here. So, I started to feel good. I don't want to throw a number on it, about 5 or 6 guys that we probably feel like are kind of established themselves, at least at the outset. Right. And, maybe three or 4 of the spots are pretty interchangeable, and excited about the direction the group is headed right now.
Coach, on Friday when Lloyd and I were there, the one thing that kind of stuck out to me a little bit was the emphasis on running, right? And obviously I know there's certain situations and certain games where, it's a situational day or situational games, or you want to see certain situations, but they felt like there was a lot more aggressiveness, I guess, or trying to take the extra bag, trying to steal a bag in that game than we're used to seeing. I think that's obviously probably part of the makeup of the team, part of having, maybe some guys that have more guys that are capable of doing it. Has that been an added emphasis on the team this year?
Yeah, I'm into winning baseball. That's what's important to me. And, you want to use the players that you have and use their strengths well. And in my opinion, a guy like Cade Beloso can do no wrong, but I don't think people were paying to come to the box to watch him steal bases. Right. Tommy White is one of the best hitters in the history of college baseball, and I'm certainly loved having him on my team, but Tommy wasn't going to steal a whole lot of bags. And, we're a little more athletic. I think if you look at your season as a whole, the ceiling of your season is going to be determined by how well you play in close games. We lost 2 championship games last year by 1 run. And so, we want to be good in those games. And, the style of the team maybe is a little bit different, but I want to win whether we have to sacrifice bunt, steal bases, hit bombs, pitch and play defense, kind of whatever it takes. And that's always been my brand of baseball. And I think maybe we've talked about it before. We won a national championship hitting 144 homers or something like that. And the other time I played for the national championship, we led the country in sacrifice bunt. So it's about doing what we need to do to win. And that's what I would say we're trying to do.
Coach, the older guys on your team, you have a rapport built with already. You know them pretty well. You know what they do. You know their strengths and their weaknesses. As this pertains to young guys on the team, especially the young freshmen who have not played on this level, and honestly, guys moving into this league, because I think we can kind of say this league is tougher now than it has ever been. It only keeps getting tougher. Is there things like principles or rules that you have that are in the back of your mind that you've gotten from your years of coaching that you look for from these guys that you're okay, they're starting to catch on, they're starting to be ready for this level of ball?
Yes, 1,000%. And I really like how you asked that question. So the first thing that comes to mind is, do they have the ability to slow the game down when the real bullets start flying? And can they have this ability? Obviously we wouldn't have recruited them if they didn't have ability to play at this level, but the ability to stay in character in the real thing. You fill up the stadium, you put an opponent, different color jersey, luckily the guys we get here usually get better, when the game starts. And I think that's what this group is. But they know that what we're looking for them is to have that talent turn into usable skill to help our team win. Now, does that mean no matter how talented a freshman is, there's not a bump or two in the road? That's not realistic. There's only one, let's say Dylan Cruz, and I already used him up. So, you don't get that all the time. And there's some things that they can't get past until they learn it. What we try to do is create what we call as much inexpensive experience for them as we possibly can. That's a lot of the reason why we scrimmage the way that we do and try to expose things. For instance, a pitcher tipping his pitch. It's like, we'll let him tip the pitch and let it get blasted. We'll let them have a slow leg to the plate and turn the base running thing into a track meet to like, hey man, you can't do that. You were never in the stretch in high school, so it may make sense why you are the way that you are, but that's not going to fly. And until you can get the ball to the plate in 1-3 or less and hold your same stuff and execute pitches, hold the ball, comfortable picking, it's really hard to put you in a game that matters. On the position player side, if the management of the strike zone, if we're swinging at everything and not controlling the at bat, that's an absolute benchmark. It's like first thing they write down in a offensive player meeting is if I swing at balls, I will not play. So there's some of those, but I will say I'm very positive about the talent and the makeup of this freshman class. This is by far the best freshman class we've had since I've been here. It's not close, and I think there's talent and there's makeup, which will turn into skill, and some of these guys will contribute right away, and they're the foundation of what we're going to do going forward. So feel real good about those guys, and some of those guys are hitting those marks, Jared, as you asked about.
Nice. Coach, one of those freshmen is at a position of need, right? I know one of the bigger position battles, and that's catching position, right? We got to see Luis Hernandez, and we saw Aaron Beatty. I saw him catch on Friday. Aaron Beatty seems like he looks pretty good behind the plate. Great thrower of the baseball. I think he threw a couple guys out, hit a double in the gap. What have you seen from him? Because as you're talking about slowing the game down, there's not a position on the field that needs to be slower than that position, right? So, obviously you have 3 guys or 4 guys back there that are getting some opportunities. What's that position like? Are we gonna see them all get some opportunity early on? And what's that? I guess what's the verdict on the catcher's position?
Yeah, I'll speak to you. Asked about Cade first of all. He's doing a good job. He's a really talented player. Obviously we were fighting professional baseball to get him here, and proud of him. If he would have had a lower opinion of himself from a signing bonus standpoint, he would not be at LSU right now. So proud of him for that. And he's really developed in his time here. He had an excellent fall. Offensively, I think he hit 360 in the fall. But the greatest compliment I can give a catcher is if you do not notice them when the game is going on, kind of like an umpire, and everything just kind of works with a good tempo, pace, flow. There's not balls to the backstop. And all of them have done a pretty good job of that, and Cade included. He has enough talent to make an impact on the game right now. There's some learning curve stuff that, I'll be definitely looking for him to see that he can slow the game down. He showed me that to this point, I feel good about that. And then, inevitably there's some things like you can't get past until you go through them. And, he'll have some of that. But he's going to play. No question about that, some. Luis Hernandez, done a great job. Receiving, throwing, blocking. He's a good hitter.
Yeah, it looks like he launches ball. It looks like he launches balls. He looks very hitterish at the plate. So it looks like.
Yeah. Are you talking about Cade or Luis?
No, I'm talking about Luis. You mentioned Luis.
Yeah. Both of them are very good offensive players. Yeah. And, I think they both have the ability to be dangerous and have both become better hitters, since they've been here. Using the field, damage the ball. control at bats. They're going to make an impact. Blaze Priester has really caught well since we've been back here, and that's been good. And then he obviously has a lot of power as well. So those three are all going to play some, and we still got some time to sort it out a little bit.
Another guy that's really stood out to us on Friday, and it's a guy that we talked a lot about last year, had a lot of opportunity last year, came on really late in the season and a bullpen guy is a guy that you're going to count on. Now it seems like he's going to be a guy you count on the rotation, Cade Anderson. He looks like he is a completely different pitcher this year than he was last year. He has command. It feels like 4 pitches now. His fastball command, he can go down, up, and you saw it. We saw it on Friday. He went 2 fastballs to Priester down at the knees and then followed that up with a nasty changeup to strike him out. And then he had some other strikeouts early in the game where he pitched backwards. So can you talk a little about his development and kind of the biggest difference that you see in him?
Yeah, I love to talk about Cade. Like, if you're drawing up a Coach Johnson LSU baseball player, this guy's at the forefront of that. When you talk about talent, makeup, usable skill to win, he did really finish well last year. When you talk about postseason play, the SEC tournament, and a couple really good outings in the NCAA tournament, and he's really elevated himself. I think a couple things. He's been an excellent leader of the pitching staff, and it's not just a talented guy, but a guy that does everything right. I think when you look at his individual development, he crushed the weight room this summer. He's a really good athlete too. He's actually a good hitter too. Like, if we needed to have a pitcher hit, he would probably be the guy that
really
got to be. Yeah, no question about it. Yeah.
Wow.
So he's a really good athlete. He added a ton of strength. He's added to his arsenal, added to the pitchability piece. He has a lot of different ways to get through an order and set guys up, and I can't wait to watch him do it. And feel very fortunate that he's on our team, and he's made a great step from last year.
Gavin Gidry's going to take that person.
Don't switch. What?
No, go ahead, Jay.
Oh, I was about to I didn't hear. Coach, I was gonna ask you, I guess, looking to the rest of the pitching staff, when we talk about the whole staff, you lose a Griffin Herring, but the role that he kind of played last year was not necessarily a traditional role. Do you see anybody who's going to have to step in that role, or do you see you being able to use a more traditional bullpen, if you will, throughout the year?
Yeah, I just think the hard part about college baseball is, and we're at the place, right?
Right.
But our guys are not pros yet. They're not.
Right.
And so, there's a little bit more, variability in what you get out of guys. And that makeup piece of the guy that leads the rotation on Friday and the makeup piece of the closer are huge. And so you look at our guys that have finished games here and finished the most important games, it's honestly been like makeup over stuff. When I think about, Guidry, Riley Cooper, Paul Gervais, like, those guys have excellent makeup. So you can't just traditionally do it unless you have the guy that has the stuff to do it with that makeup. So I don't know that we're going to pigeonhole ourselves into one thing yet, but what I feel good about is I feel like we've done an excellent job preparing the staff in 2 ways. Like, we have some guys pitch counts built up where we can either peel guys back, and we have a lot of guys going twice in a weekend, which we did each of the last 2 weekends in short stints, and we did it this weekend, and we are going to definitely do it again this next weekend. So there's a lot of options, and this pitching staff's in a really good place right now. Coach Yeski's done a terrific job. I think they know who they are. They know what they need to execute, and there's a lot of candidates. I've mentioned a few guys. Gavin's obviously done it, so we know what you have there. And, we've stretched his pitch count out, so he's either going to peel back down and the stuff's going to play up, or he could fill, like Griffin did, last year. I've mentioned Connor Ware several times, rightfully so. He's been outstanding. Some of these freshmen are good, man. Like Schmidt, obviously, he was electric on Saturday, like, outstanding performance. Case and Evans is a star in terms of stuff. Maverick Rizzi, that's a name to watch.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, he was bumping 97.5 a few minutes ago out there.
That's fun.
And Connor Benj, the guy probably hadn't been talked about a lot, but the last 3 times out, like, you're looking at that guy going, he's going to get in the ball game. And I mean, I can keep going. Like,
Yeah,
I'm really excited
Is this
about
the
what Coach Yeski's
Is this the deepest rotation or deepest pitching staff you think you've had since you've been here, as far as top to bottom of guys that could maybe contribute? I'm not saying, obviously, you had Paul Skeens and those guys who are, the best of the best, but as far as number one to number whatever, guys that you feel confident throwing the game, do you feel like it's going into the season, feel like it's the deepest pitching staff you've had maybe at LSU?
I don't know. I mean, in 23, what everybody forgets is, like, we had 4 season-ending injuries to, like, real dudes. Like, 3 of them are going to pitch in the major league someday.
Yeah.
So, like, until that, like, happened, it's really hard to say anything was deeper than that.
Yeah.
What was impressive is we were so deep that happened, and we still won the national championship. I think that's, like, one of the more unsaid things about that team. Last year, I mean, we led the country in strikeouts,
right,
and we had broken SEC record for pitchers drafted. So I think the theme, and I really like where these guys are at right now. And so, like, I think the theme is, if you're an elite pitcher, you want to come to LSU right now.
And Coach, you mentioned some of that, like bringing in new people and all of these things, and I know that you've had a topic that has kind of been up in the air a little bit with revenue sharing and scholarship limitations. Do you have any clarity on that and how you're going to be able to structure your roster at all, where it was big, there could be 35 and you're like, well, I don't know really where we are. Do you have any of that kind of set in stone and what you're going to do with the roster in terms of when the season gets going?
Yeah, good question. You're talking about for next year, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so this year we have a 40-man roster. It's set, it's online. That's your team. You know what I mean, for 2025. Next year, the only thing I know is the roster is 34. I also know that on a government level, we have permission to give away 34 full rides in baseball. So it'd be like football and all that. What I don't know is if the SEC is going to set a limit, or LSU is going to set a limit. So that just kind of remains to be seen. I have contingency plans for all of it, and it's not really anybody's fault. It's just the way that it is right now, and so we have to be ready for anything. But there's been a lot of change in college baseball since I took this job, so it's like, bring it on, I guess.
Put number 8 up there, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Do you know?
Yeah, that's the condition, right?
Do you know when they're going to make that decision? They haven't given you a timeline, or is it just still kind of up in the air?
Well, I don't. The last I heard from the SEC is that I don't think they're going to impose a conference limitation on number of baseball scholarships. So I think it's not official yet, but my gut is that it's going to come down to school what the school wants to do. So obviously we love baseball here, so hopefully we can put ourselves in the best spot possible. I know there's some things with revenue sharing that have changed, and is Title IX impacting that, which, can you give football $17 million, or do they only get $10.25 million? And then how does that affect the other pieces? Like, it's all up in the air. There's been model, is it 75% football, 5% all other sports other than men's and women's basketball, or is it 10%?
Right.
So there's a lot to be figured out, and my stance is let's put baseball in the best position possible.
Yeah, I'm on that stance too.
How do you go about, how difficult is it to navigate the recruiting with the current landscape, knowing that, whenever this decision is made in April, things may change and you don't know how it's going to go? How do you go about doing that stuff right now?
Yeah, I think college baseball in general, prepares you for that. Yeah. And what I mean by that is we're dealing with something that no other sport is dealing with, which is the MLB draft. So every year, I mean, we have this recruiting class that everybody's excited about. I'm excited about, and everybody should be excited about it. But we lost 4 recruits in the draft. So it's and one guy was in summer school. He was in summer school here, and then walked into my office with his dad and then packed his bags and then left to go to the White Sox or something. I don't even know what team he got drafted by, so it's like when you're dealing with that, and then it hasn't mattered whether it was San Diego, Nevada, Arizona, LSU, like you just kind of get like desensitized to all of it. And it's like, hey man, like we want to win. We gotta be ready to operate in any kind of environment. So I feel like we're built for it. I'm built for it. And it's just, hey man, there's some things you don't have control over. And, I'm sure coaches that you guys have had, hey, control what you can control. Yep. And that's what I've chosen to do. And we'll figure out a way and a path, no matter what it looks like.
And Coach, you mentioned obviously bringing in transfers, bringing in freshmen that you expect to make an impact. We have one from the chat here, taking a leap of faith. He asked, how do you prepare freshman transfers for a Friday night in Alex Box? Is there anything that you can do to help, or do you kind of put that on the team? Is that more of like a team kind of get them ready for stepping into this environment, or is there something that you tell them of when you step into, Tiger Stadium, Alex Box, this is what's expected?
Yeah, like if you hit a rocket in the gap with the bases loaded, people are going to cheer really loud.
Keep running.
Do a lot of those.
If you swing at a slider in the dirt, they're going to be unhappy. So.
Don't check Tiger droppings.
I'm just kidding. Like, honestly, and I had this conversation with the new players literally on Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday. Of, just your ability to slow the game down, kind of like I was talking about when Jared asked that question, and play in character. Like, if you can do that, it's all the same game. The fundamentals of baseball don't change whether you're in a January inter-squad or in Omaha. Like, the same thing's actually required, but people change. So can you have, like, your process and your routine so solid, like you literally don't know the difference? And that's seriously like uncommon, but when they have that, they got it, if that makes sense. And so we try to help them on the mental game side of it and do the best we can with that. Now, there's other things, like we went and played in Biloxi, and there was legit like 5,000 fans, and most of them were LSU fans, and guys whose hearts were beating and those types of things. And we want to use those kinds of experiences. And so we had a couple good ones in the fall that should help with that.
Coach, let me ask, and some of the fans may not be happy with this. I think I know what you're trying to do with the day game, opening day, right? I think back in the day, if people were baseball fans, the Cincinnati Reds were kind of known for being the first team in Major League Baseball to open the season. Is that kind of what you're trying to create there? Like, hey, we're going to go there. We're going to be the first one. We're going to start. We're going to have the opening day at 2 o'clock. And just kind of make it more of an event, or is that one of those things I can go back and forth, or is it 2 o'clock to stay?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I didn't realize we were gonna go from like a snowstorm to like San Diego weather.
Welcome.
It's amazing right now.
It's perfect.
It's amazing. Like,
it's the spring.
If you can lock this in for me, we'll play it at 6:30. No problem. We're playing right now. We just literally, I got off the field and came in for this interview. So, I think more like the first year I was here, we played at 6:30, and it was cold.
Yep.
And the stadium was still packed in the first inning, but like by the fourth inning, like everybody left.
Yeah.
So it was like, and I didn't blame them. It was freezing. And then the next year, like it was going to be like 29 degrees at first pitch.
Yep.
And we had this pitcher that nobody really knew how good he was, named Paul Skeens. And so I really just didn't want Paul Skeens throwing in 29-degree weather.
Right.
So, and because, and I get it, like people set schedules, and this is a special deal. Like I just decided, like, hey, let's just cut the drama. Let's set it for a day game. And, we won a tight game last year, actually, on opening day in front of a great crowd. And so hopefully they'll come at 2 o'clock. And I don't know if we have any flexibility. Like, if it's like continues to be like this, and then hey, if they want to move it back, we can move it back. Actually, I actually looked that week. There's a lot of thunderstorms in the afternoon.
Oh, of course.
And then it actually like tapers off in the evening, and you know how I feel about lightning delays. So,
Jay, you got one?
Coach, Coach, I'm gonna put you on the spot here a little bit. I'm gonna kind of touch on your personality a little bit. Is that a 7:30 at night coffee? Is that really going?
That's what I was wondering too.
Oh, that's 1,000%.
Doesn't sleep.
God.
It's unbelievable.
You're a menace, man. That's
Sleep in
incredible.
fear.
Yeah. No, I've been given a beautiful gift. Like when I go to sleep, I'm asleep. Like I don't.
That's amazing.
You know, the only 2 times I haven't slept was after the Saturday night Florida game last year and the Saturday night Vanderbilt game. Those are the only 2 times I haven't been able to go to sleep. Those were not good.
That's fair.
So.
That's understandable.
That's an impressive habit right there.
Listen,
I'll tell you that. I don't know if it's a habit, but it's an impressive doing.
Yeah, if I drank coffee right now, I'd be up all night. So I respect that.
You know, I actually cheat a little bit though. I take down what are they called? The caffeine shots. I cut those, and there's only actually 2 of those in there. So I don't know. It might be the most expensive water in Baton Rouge.
It does a trick.
Coach, I'm right there with you, buddy.
Yeah, look.
See?
Yeah, he's energy
No rest
drinks.
for the weary.
Coffee's better than energy drinks. Don't follow Lloyd. He's an unhealthy person.
I won't make it to 45.
No. Coach, we appreciate you coming on as always. I don't want to keep you for too long. I know y'all just got off the field. Always a pleasure. Always enjoy having a conversation with you. Looking forward to the season. Looking forward to having you on a lot more throughout the course of the year. We'll be there opening day. I got the go-ahead on Valentine's Day to be there. So I will be there on Valentine's Day without solo. Wife's going to do something else. She got friends Valentine's Day or her side piece. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but
Hey, you got
I'll
baseball.
be there.
You never alone with baseball.
That's right. We appreciate you.
The key is and this is every weekend. So the key is you got to knock that out like the weekend before.
You're right.
I'm sure if you cleared your schedule, took her to a nice dinner instead of we're celebrating Valentine's Day today, because you're so special, I can't wait any longer.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure you would get prepared for opening day.
Love lessons. Like Jay, not only great coach,
relationship advice.
Great relationship advice. I appreciate it. Listen, you're right. We have dinner scheduled beforehand, so that's a good point. We already did it.
There you go.
I appreciate you. We'll see you on the next time we come on. Next week after that, whenever. So enjoy your night.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Married to the game.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Yep, you too. It's good advice. Just plan early. Hey, everybody does Valentine's Day on Valentine's Day.
Why don't we make it our day?
Why don't we do? Yeah, it's our day. It's special.
It's like a second anniversary.
That's it. That's it.
Works for me.
Jay's great.
The best.
The best, and we got that was great. The
coffee is diabolical.
The great banter at the end there.
Diabolical.
I mean, I couldn't. If I drink coffee at 3, I'd be up for a while. But
nah, look. I mean, truth be told, I'm gonna get some caffeine in me at 3, 4-ish before we do this. But Jay is full coffee, and it's 7:30.
Yeah.
Mine is done. If I'm drinking at this time, I'm wired for the rest of the night. I'm ready.
Yep.
So I don't know how you doing that right now.
Well, y'all are kind of blessed with the same curse of just being able to fall asleep whenever.
Yeah, that's a
true.
That's a great point.
That's true.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
Ain't never seen anybody do it like Jared though. I've never seen anybody do it like Jared. I gotta call you Jared when he's on, because I say Jay and he thinks I'm talking to him. I don't want him to confuse that with disrespect.
Hey, Jay, you got a question for us?
I don't want him to confuse that. He's like, no, I don't oh shit. Jared. J Mitch.
What did you call him the other day? Jonathan?
Yeah. Jonathan Mitchell.
Yeah, what was that?
I was reading something and it had Jonathan in it, and it was just, brain got confused.
Not enough coffee.
Yeah, not enough caffeine. No, a lot of insight. I think he kind of let us in on some things that he liked, that he didn't like. Obviously, he's not gonna give the line. He's not Coach Maneri. Coach Maneri will tell you who's starting right now, right? Like if he has the lineup set in his head, he'll tell you. He's kind of an open book. Jay's gonna keep that a little bit closer to the vest, which I think we've all understand. We've all noticed that. But you could tell, I think, in his responses and his voice, he's excited about the year. Because, he probably rattled off 7 or 8 pitchers that, some that you have really talked about. Connor Benj, Maverick Grizzly, some of these guys. Maverick Grizzly, great name, by the way. Some that you haven't really talked about. And then I think there's some other guys that have been productive that he didn't even mention that are going to factor in. So you could tell he's pretty excited about the year.
Yeah, you can tell he's definitely he's locked in. He hasn't really spoken on it, but I guess I'll speak on it a little bit. It seems to be that they've made it through the fall and the majority of the spring so far. I guess you could say heading into the spring, pretty damn healthy as a team, and that's something that's always pretty good for you to go into it. Obviously, you never know what happens along the way and how this thing goes, but I think every coach would like to be able to go into the year kind of having that full arsenal of everybody to kind of figure out what they want to or should be able to do. So I think that's something that's really good for them that'll probably play into their favor as the season starts, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. Lloyd, are you going opening day?
Absolutely.
I didn't know if you had to go to Alexandria.
Yeah, you won't be alone, brother. No,
yeah, we go together.
Yeah, this is this is blocked off on the schedule. This is not a.
Are you doing Alexandria this weekend?
Maybe.
So are you going to take Jay's advice?
Yeah, I'll take Jay's advice. We'll do whatever, a date.
Have a date night, dinner, treat her dinner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the newest owner of a new show.
Maybe I'll do Uber Eats to the crib.
And the candlelight dinner at the house?
Not a whole. Yeah, well, Alexandria, not allowed to go.
Yeah, actually, where would you go in Alec?
Oh, the chain capital of the world, brother. You can go to Longhorn Steakhouse.
You can tell you're a small city when it's all food chains.
There's not. I don't think there's an original fucking place there. It's just you go around the circle and you pick one. They still got a Chuck E. Cheese that's fucking thumping.
Carrabba's probably.
No Carrabba's. John Carino's.
See, I love a Carrabba. Carrabba's is good.
Carrabba's here is good.
I love Carrabba's. Great bread. Great chicken marsala. Actually, unbelievable salads. Like their Caesar salad at Carrabba's fire.
Never been a salad man. Sometimes I cook. You know, whenever you're bored in Alexandria, you learn the
well, when
ways
your
of the
mom's a chef.
Yeah, you pick up some things.
Yeah, usually if you don't, then you're not paying attention. Right. That also probably happens.
I do both. Sometimes you got to keep the big man entertained on the couch.
Yeah.
Jay, he's not moving.
Yeah, he's just chilling.
Yeah. So
Jay, what are you doing for Valentine's Day?
I don't know, bro. It's we're 2 weeks away. Jesus Christ. I don't know.
Well, I guess
you could move it up a week and then come to opening day.
That's right. You don't have to prepare yet because, you're not going to be here for opening day. So, I have to prepare ahead of time because
I don't know. Let's see.
What are you doing?
Allie's going to this. Have y'all heard of the Giggly Squad?
No.
It's I guess, a girl podcast. I have no idea. So, but they go on tour.
Oh, they're in New Orleans.
On Valentine's Day. And so she's going with her friends to that, which is fine. So we're going to do Valentine's Day Thursday.
I have 93,000 subscribers on YouTube. What the fuck are we doing wrong?
Yeah, I know.
The Giggly Squad.
And they're on tour.
Y'all asked me about 2 weeks from now. I don't know what the hell I'm doing Thursday. You asked me about 2 weeks from now.
All right, look.
You could be opening day.
Yeah. I'll be there opening day.
You know what day that is?
Already in conversations. Already in conversations about some tailgates.
Oh.
Yeah, trying to finagle our way into the good spot of the tailgates.
That was the time in 2023, which was quickly taken away.
2023?
No, but we had, full.
Oh, you're not talking about tailgates.
No, tailgates are always awesome. You can do that. I mean, you can do that on the concrete and have a great time.
That we still have to worry about because I don't know. Did we even apply for credentials?
Jared?
I don't think we did. I need to call.
I think we could get an inside track.
I need to call. Get that done for us.
I mean, I could pull the big and go. Ooh, I can't talk to the big guy.
No, I don't think we need to do that. I think we can go straight to Bill, Frankes.
He's busy with football.
Yeah.
Not right now.
I know. I'm just saying. Now might be the time to get him.
Yep. Well, the voice of the Tigers.
He is.
Baseball voice.
We might have to do the old radio tour again too. That's always a good time to sneak in there.
Yeah, but they've caught on to
down
that.
The hatches.
They've caught on to that.
That's why you need the press pass.
That's why I need. Well, they've caught on to that too.
Yeah, what happened to LSU baseball? I loved.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll get it back. Maybe they got tired of it this year.
That's been the expectations not coming off of Natty.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. All right,
we're only doing good things for the program.
I can't get rid of this cough and it's pissing me off.
I'm gonna try to go to the gym tomorrow at 45.
I've been working out. It's just
I've just been so sick.
Yeah, you sound better. Well, that's right into the mic.
Yeah.
Did you just blow your nose right into the mic?
Let them know that I'm not all the way back yet. That's why I haven't gotten in there yet. Tomorrow's the day. A little strength day.
All right, I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Let's get to the
segments. Twice.
You got a mistake of the day?
I do have a mistake of the day. This was in the news.
Hey.
As basketball is back for a day. Fleeting moment. Luca Doncic traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. It makes headline news as even Shams was like, hey, dude, this is real. I've not been hacked. I have to put out this news. And to the extent it goes that LeBron didn't know about the trade, Luca didn't know about the trade, Jason Kidd didn't know about the trade. This was done in the wee hours of the morning. So much so that even Luca had just settled on a $15 million house in Dallas and had purchased it, ready to move in. Has to put that thing back up on the market as he is now your newest Los Angeles Lakers. So I don't know how that goes. I'm not in the business of spending upwards of 7 figures on anything. But how does that work whenever you've already bought the house and now you just put it right back on the market?
Yeah, you
just take a loss? Because now he's also losing out on the super max.
Because if you already closed on it, I mean, I don't know if he's going to necessarily take a loss. But, I mean, there's not very many people. Now, he is in Dallas, so that opens up the pool of people that can afford the $15 million. But there's, I mean, that's a price that's a price point where it's not like, oh, you have a ton of people
that
are looking to buy that. Yeah, it's a tough.
All right, here we go.
Tough situation.
So I feel bad. Obviously, he was blindsided by the move. He said that Chandler Parsons outed him and said that he cried when he found out, which I don't think anybody needs to really know. But I'm sure he's excited to play with LeBron, who has drafted him twice, first overall in the All-Star game. So maybe LeBron did know.
Maybe so. It'll be interesting. Crazy trade.
And he's back on the market.
What? It is?
No, I'm saying it has to be, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it has to be. Unless he keeps it, and that's where he wants to keep his home. I mean, that could also be a thing.
Oh, yeah, you could do the summer home.
Well, I mean, that's where he's going to keep his residence, I would imagine, so he helps with taxes. So, maybe he keeps it. All right, curtain calls.
Smart. I do have a curtain call also.
I think, is it yours? Is it? I'm thinking I'm going to piggyback off of it.
Yeah, no, you can have that one. I have another one. This is courtesy of Barstool Sports. And never, ever, ever trust a kid that says, in lieu of a final, says, I could name every team to win an NBA championship. If you give me 100 on the final, I'll do this instead. That's what he opted for and proceeds to name.
You would imagine the professor knew that.
You ready? Yeah. Celtics, Nuggets, Warriors, Bucks, Lakers, Raptors, Warriors, Cavs, Warriors, Spurs, Heat, Mavericks, Lakers, Celtics, Spurs, Heat, Spurs, Pistons, Spurs, Lakers. It should be a 1999. Yep. Spurs, Bulls, Rockets, Bulls, Pistons, Lakers, Celtics, Lakers. We're 84 now? Yeah. Celtics, Sixers, Lakers, Celtics, Lakers. Now we're 1979. Sonics, Bullets, Blazers, Celtics, Warriors, Celtics. 73? Yeah. Knicks, Lakers, Bucks, Knicks, Celtics. 1967? Yeah. Sixers, Celtics. That's 8 straight? Yeah. So now we're at 1958. Yeah. St. Louis Hawks.
Oh my God.
Celtics, Philadelphia Warriors, Syracuse Nationals. We're in 1954? Yeah. All right, 3 for the Lakers, Minneapolis. 1951, Rochester Royals, back-to-back for the Lakers in 50 and 49. 1948, Baltimore Bullets, and then 1947, first ever NBA champions, Philadelphia Warriors.
Bang!
Wow.
Is that Paul Gervais?
That's what I was saying. I thought the same thing. Can name you every World Series winner.
Wow.
Buddy has not paid attention to a lecture all year.
I mean, he dialed that thing off. There was no thought.
He did it from last year all the way to the first one.
Yeah,
he did it in order.
Hey, ABC's backwards.
Yes.
That's basically what he just did.
That's an impressive order right there. You got better memory than me, I can tell you that.
Wow.
I was struggling to figure out who won it last year.
The definition, I guess the takeaway from that is Lakers and Celtics have a lot of championships.
Yeah. You can eliminate almost 30.
Yeah. It's crazy. Wow. Okay. That is a curtain call. Jay, you have one?
Yeah, I got one. I sent it to Lloyd. Lloyd, I would love for you to narrate this, but I guess it's that time of the year where things are a little slow. There's this one kid that was shooting a shot looking for a date, trying to get things done. And he shot out a nice text message thread that one would think that he belongs in maybe someone's program to be the next coming Secret Service and somehow defending our country, because this memory and ability to actually put these things together to find out when he was, where he was, is absolutely impressive.
Hold on, I'm trying. So you sent me.
He sent it to us on Instagram, right? Or Twitter?
You put it in my. Hold on, I'm opening it up. I got it. This guy's jacked. All right, I got it. Okay, let's see.
It's a wild deal.
Let's see. Hold on. Sorry, it's always a little bit difficult whenever we.
Yeah,
have
it's
to do-
okay.
It's all right. It's all right. I like the way that. Thank you for participating. This is how it goes sometimes. Give me 1 second, because now I'm interested in it.
You didn't read
Wait, I've seen this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy is a beautiful mind. This is is this good or bad for him?
This is female level investigation.
Yes.
So they asked where he was and how he knew, and he answered. He wasn't really investigating the girl. He liked the girl.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, but the investigating of the other things and how he knew and how he
put this
how he
whole
all put
piece
it together. It's wild.
Yes, this is like Secret Service. You need to be the CIA type investigating.
So, guess this photo where it was taken.
So Maddie
sends that to him, and is this the 6th inning of the June 18th Orioles versus Yankees game? Geez, how'd you know that? A little work through the process.
She probably was a little creeped out.
Yeah.
Geez, how'd you know that?
Yeah,
and then he goes into this.
Yeah, it's like he really likes baseball.
Yeah.
So he has another hobby, so it won't just be you. A little work through the process based on second base and shortstop. I can tell it's the Orioles, and clearly at Yankee Stadium. Only 6 games were played at Yankee Stadium between the two of them. One series in September and the other in June. Based on what people are wearing, September would be too cold, so we're down to 3 games. There are too many people in the stands for this not to be a close game. So it knocks out the last game of the series where the Yanks got destroyed, where Gio gave up 7 and 11. Now being a nerd on catchers, I noticed
7 and 1.1.
7 and 1.1. Sorry. Now being a nerd on catchers, I noticed Mets legend James McCann standing behind home plate, and surely enough, James McCann caught Game 1 of the series, and Italy had Game 2. And so now we're back. So now since the pitch blackout, it's late into the game, and the pitcher looks a little like Dylan Tate, who started warming in the bottom of the 6th. So there you have it.
And the only thing I wish you would have seen or you would have gotten on that is the response that she gave.
It might be a reason it's cropped out.
Exactly. That was wild. Great curtain call.
That's fantastic. We got a bunch,
yeah. What?
Look at the pros. I can name you every NBA champion.
Hey,
I can
it.
tell you where you were on this day. Like, at least he's using his powers for some.
No doubt.
And some guy 92 commented, "Risen with the tism."
Hey, whatever works. Whatever works. My curtain call is to, we've had a few of them. He's been on these probably the last couple months. Jack Besh, MVP of the Senior Bowl, walk-off touchdown. Obviously, great moment for him. Team goes out there, kind of celebrates with him, wearing his brother's number from Princeton. Second part of the curtain call is not only was he the MVP of the Senior Bowl, but that week of practice and the things that he did has skyrocketed his draft stock. And now he's been projected to get drafted potentially in the 2nd round, comparing him to Puka Nacua. Obviously, there's still a long ways to go into the draft, but, curtain call for Jack for putting himself in a position to achieve his dreams and get to the NFL and be a guy in the NFL. So pretty cool to see him do that. And that's the end of our seggies.
Yes, and another thing that obviously with everything surrounding Jack Besh and what happened, he had a quote that said, "My brother had some wings on me," after about his game-winning touchdown with 7 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
He gave it to me, and he let it all take place. He wore the number 7 jersey that his brother wore at Princeton. He's been a role model my entire life, the person I look up to, the person I wanted to be. He was the best big brother I could ever ask for. So very touching from Jack, and also seemingly has solidified himself as at least a day 2 pick.
Yep, no doubt. So shout out to him. I'm going to be excited to watch his future and kind of where he goes in the NFL. And, obviously his brother will be with him every step of the way. All right, that's all we got for you on this beautiful Monday night. We'll be back live in studio on Wednesday from 6 to 8-ish, hopefully with some more players to talk to and interview and have some coaches to have some conversations with. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you can't watch us, but you like listening to us or anywhere you get your pods.
Also, can the Reese's Cup have a little sense of the moment here?
Yeah, get out the way. Like, get out of the way.
It's not your time, Reese's Cup. Look, somebody comes and gets
finally. That probably should move.
But he thought it was his time to steal the show, and this is a very sentimental moment between Jack Besh and his family, and I just thought that this was absolutely all time.
Could have been a mistake of the day.
It could have been.
Yep, get out of here.
Get out of here.
Speaking of getting out of here, we're going to get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. I'll be back on Wednesday. Really nothing going on. Enjoy binge watching some shows.
How's your new show?
So there's a couple new shows. So Lioness Fire, right? But that's like, I don't watch it at home. I have to.
Treadmill show?
I use it as a when I'll go run in the morning because I need something to like occupy me. So like I don't want to binge it at the house and not have anything when I'm working out. Night Agent Fire.
Everybody's on Night Agent.
I've seen the first season. Night Agent, good. And then you have the other show on Netflix, The Recruit. Action, but like comedy part of the action too, like
a little mix of
like
both.
wittiness and like yeah. And so just finished that one. And so yeah, it's there's some things out there. Some shows out there.
Because this is when you have to start diving into Netflix again.
Yep. You got to have some buffers.
Yeah. Show season.
Mm-hmm. Or just watch this on YouTube.
Or you can watch us on YouTube. Just let it play on loop. Be sick and tired of us, but it's okay. We love you.
No, yeah. Put it on mute.
Yeah.
Let it loop.
That's it. All right. We'll see you on Wednesday. Enjoy your Monday. Peace. Later, Jay.
See you,
Enjoy
boys.
Tejas.
Pleasure.
Pleasure.